Even if you're not doing it for yourself, please do it for your neighbor, do it for the person beside you, do it for another person. Wash your hands, sanitize. You might not fall down, you might be asymptomatic, but this other person might not survive if the person catches it. So please isolate, do everything you're told to do. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Grace Oluchi Anugwa, also known as Lulu. You're welcome. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're still a returning subscriber, welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do well to click the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell so that when I release a video, you get notified. I'm shooting from an isolation center, so I had to make do with what I have. So, just stay, just enjoy it, just enjoy it. Now, I caught COVID, I'm sure you already know from the topic, and I'm a survivor. I recovered, I'm symptomless now. I just want to share my experience with you. And the reason for this video is basically to, share my story, one, to give hope to those who are hopeless, and also to debunk a stigma. I feel like there is a stigma. Some people have this stigma associated to COVID. Oh, COVID, ew. I want to debunk, remove the stigma and just leave COVID as an infection that it is. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, firstly, how did it all start? How do I think it all started? So, when I was in St. Vincent, so I'm currently in Dominica. When I was in St. Vincent, it was COVID, it's COVID times, We didn't have so much cases then though. The cases just sprouted up all of a sudden. So as at that time, we were still upcoming. We're upcoming. So I still used to, take precautions, wear face mask and all, avoid places I don't have to be, and social distancing where necessary. I used to do all that. But then I went to church and the supermarkets. Those were my frequent places when I went out. So I don't think I got it from the supermarket for sure. But I know that one day I came back from church and I just felt like something happened. I don't know, I just felt like something happened. Not saying that that's where I got it from, but I think I got it from there. But it's fine. That day, nothing happened. Now my symptoms, 3 days later or so, I woke up one morning and I had diarrhea. Now, I regularly have diarrhea. I can eat anything and just wake up with stooling, all those kind of things. So it's a norm for me. So I'm just going to hold that aside. I didn't see that as anything. And also, I'm someone that hardly falls sick, outside menstrual cramps or a headache here and there. You mean all these fever, chills, under blankets, all those serious illnesses? Nah, you will not see me there. I hardly get there. So now this time I had the diarrhea and I just saw it as a normal thing, just regular. Then later that night I had chills. For some reason St. Vincent was getting cold, but okay, I felt like that was it was the environment and nothing small. I never coughed, I never never ever. So I felt like that was my environment and I was just feeling cold, that kind of thing. So I had chills that night, locked up everywhere, stayed under the blankets. I don't think I had fever, just chills, and that was fine. The next morning I woke up all right. I was okay, because it was initially come go. So I felt okay, that's it, as in okay, it was just a one-time thing. Then the next night I had fever, mad fever. I was so hot, subjective though, I didn't check my temperature, but I was very hot. And then I'm okay, I still stayed in. I think I tried to shower and eat, drink water just so that I won't get dehydrated and stuff. And I stayed in bed. The next morning I was still feverish, and that was when the actual everything just came on me. I woke up the next morning with headache and a very bad eye pain behind my eye. Now, with that being said, in St. Vincent at that time there was dengue season just finished. So the dengue is another infection, dengue virus. Dengue, there was a massive dengue. Then this was just the end of it. And then I'm okay, maybe I just caught the dengue, because this was I had pain behind my eye, and that was one of the signs of dengue. So I felt like it was dengue. At this point I didn't know if it was COVID or whatever. Now I had headache and that pain for a while, and then I think the next morning I woke up with heavy sinuses. Like there was this pressure on my sinuses. It was so bad. Like it was very bad. I couldn't help it. I couldn't change it. Like it was just, I couldn't do anything to it. Like I couldn't ease the pain, and it was so frustrating. It was pressure, as in, and it was so bad. There was that then, but everything was still, like I was still trying to eat, I lost appetite though, but I was trying to eat because I knew that it's only by eating that I will get the nutrients I need to get myself back. So I was still eating, trying to drink water, juice here and there to just encourage me and stuff. Then I wasn't able to study because of the headaches. Like I was just down. I was down, guys. Like I was down, so down. How did I now think it was COVID? Because one day, so in the midst of all this, I tried to still, keep my day going, like still try to just do stuff. Yeah, then one day I woke up, I went to use the toilet, and after that I couldn't smell anything. Like, you ate a sweet Nigerian food the night before, and you woke up, use the toilet, and you're not perceiving, you shit and you don't perceive the shit. And then I'm like, nah, something is wrong. But then it didn't still ring a bell yet. I didn't still ring a bell. And I went out to go and boil rice or something, and like I forgot it. And then it got burnt, black burnt. The fire alarm was sounding, and that's how I knew that, I forgot to have something on fire. And I went there, and it was black burnt, and I couldn't still smell. Then at this point, I'm like, girl, something is really wrong with you, and something is wrong. And I went to go and shower, I sprayed, as in I now consciously sprayed to see if I'll perceive it. And I didn't perceive anything, so I just knew that I lost smell. And then at this point, it was like confirmatory for me that I had COVID. I never got tested. Why? Because I was so scared. As I said, there's a stigma attached to COVID that shouldn't be, and because of that stigma, I was just so scared of being called like a COVID patient. Did you get? I was just so scared of being called a COVID, current COVID, past COVID, whatever. I didn't want to associate myself with it. So like it was so like it was bad. I didn't get tested. I was just scared. Honestly, I was so scared. But in my heart, I knew I had COVID. Now, like, obviously, I browsed, like, the symptoms of COVID. I now saw loss of taste. Now, in my own case, I'm not going to say I lost taste because the thing with it was that I was able to taste salt. I was able to taste, like, when the food is tasty, I will taste the food. I will taste pepper. But maybe I will not be able to taste the other spices. My taste reduced, but it didn't totally go. I'm not going to say I lost taste because I was tasting things. I was tasting things, and and after a while, every other thing stopped. Like I did certain things I'm going to tell you about. So every other thing stopped, but the loss of smell and taste lingered for like a week more before like everything started like coming back. So not loss of taste, but like the reduced taste and loss of smell lingered a bit before everything got back together, and I'm perfectly fine now by God's grace. Then what did I do? I knew that I was having headaches, so I just did like symptomatic treatment basically. So I took paracetamol and ibuprofen for the headache. For the headaches, then I had shortness of breath. I couldn't breathe well, so I took there's this aroma oil. You can check Google, just browse it. Aroma oil. It's all these small things, and it's cheap, and you just inhale it. Yeah, it's like menthol, and it just clears up. So I used that for my sinuses. I also did this steam therapy thing, like where you put hot water, very hot water in a bucket. They used to do it for us when we were young. Put hot water in a bucket, put like a few drops of the aroma oil, since it's hot, like it's menthol, so it's hot, and then you like immerse your head and cover your head with a towel. So that thing, it has a name, hopefully I put it. So I did that, and it's helped me a whole lot. It's very hot and uncomfortable, but it clears your sinus as well. It clears your sinus as well, so that you're able to breathe better. What else did I do? I did that. And I also had this terrible back and joint pain, like just my hip and my lower back is so bad, and it's so bad because no posture is comfortable for it. Like whether you stand, you sit, you lie, you squeeze, whatever you do, like it's there. So it's very, very uncomfortable. I'm in isolation. That's what happens in isolation. So it's very uncomfortable. So a lot of people, when you're told to isolate, avoid social distancing, isolate, do social distancing, sanitize, wash your hands. Some people are feeling so badly. Why should I? Why is it by force? See, let me tell you something. Sometimes it's not really about you, because you might get, okay, see me now, I got COVID and it was a bad experience, but it only lasted for like 2 weeks max, like for the headaches and all that to go away. So it was like 2 weeks max. But there are people who get COVID and they die. Now, according to Worldometer, there are currently, as of today that I'm making this video, there are currently about 110 to 111 million active cases, with about 85 million, like range wise, with about 85 million recoveries and about 2 million deaths. Now, a lot of people have died. You don't know your partners, like your neighbors, the next person beside you, like you don't know that person's reaction to COVID. You don't know if that person will survive. You don't know that person's immune system. You don't know how strong it is, if the person is immunocompromised. You don't know anything about the other person. So even if you're not doing it for yourself, please do it for your neighbor, do it for the person beside you, do it for another person. Wash your hands, sanitize. You might not fall down, you might be asymptomatic, but this other person might not survive if the person catches it. So please isolate, do everything you're told to do. Wash your hands, sanitize, put on a face mask, avoid gatherings as much as possible. Please, I'm begging, please do this. I also want to shout out to like the health workers. You know, in this isolation, I was opportune to talk to like one of the nurses, and she told me that these people, this is Dominica rule, so if you're positive, you'll be isolated in a center. I know there are countries where you're isolated at home and stuff, but this one's there's a center. So these people leave their families. So they are isolated because they are dealing with us. So like there is a home for them and stuff. So they are dealing with us, so they can't go back home. So because of us, they are not even positive. Like they really don't have a reason to do this, but they are doing it because of us. So I really want to give a shout out to them and say God bless you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your works. I appreciate everything you do for you guys, for the patients during these COVID times. I appreciate all you do. You people are the real MVPs, and I really want to really appreciate you, because you don't know what it means for you to leave your family to do, like, just imagine it. So let's say you're married with kids, or you're not married, you have your comfort, your home, and then you leave your home to live somewhere else that might not be so comfortable for you, just because you're treating people that have COVID. You don't even know them. Funny enough, you don't know them, but that kind of thing. So I really appreciate you. Honestly, I really appreciate you guys. May God bless you. May God keep you guys. And yeah. And I think we've come to the end of this video. So just putting it out there, if you get COVID, if you feel like you have any form of symptoms, please get tested. So that's one, please get tested. Two, let's remove the stigma from COVID. Let's remove the stigma from COVID. COVID is just an infection that you get treated, you get isolated, whatever you're doing, and then you come out recovered, and then some people will die. Let's remove the stigma from it. COVID people need love. If you know someone that has COVID, call them, check up on them. You don't have to see them, you don't have to meet them, but just call them, show them some love. Let's remove the stigma. Also, if you're watching this and maybe you're currently sick, you have symptoms, you can recover. There is a chance that you can recover. So just a little hope, just catch it, and have hope for recovery. Yeah, and I think we've come to the end of this video. Hope you caught something from it. Hope you learned something. Hope my story was able to help you, inspire you. Do you know anyone that has COVID, or have you caught COVID? You can tell me about your symptoms in the comment section. I would love to hear it. Trust me, I would love to hear it, because this is my own story, and there are just a few people that come out to talk about it. So hopefully, so if you've caught COVID, or you know anybody that's caught symptoms and everything, you can just tell me in the comment section what your experience was. Was it so bad that you had to go to the hospital to get IV fluids? Were you transfused? Just tell me about it in the comment section. I'd like to see it. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. Have a nice day.